total attention, prolonged concentration, and iron willpower, profound prayer and meditation. This is how Buddhist monks live their lives in Tibet, exiled in majestic temples. But, even if it sounds incredible, one of these monks became a very famous transsexual model. Her name is Phadrina Nobuntal, and when she turned 12, her parents sent her, then him, to a Buddhist temple in Thailand, because, beside them being very poor, and this way they would have one less mouth to feed, they genuinely wanted him to follow the path of Buddha. But merely wanting to join one of these monasteries is not enough. Children and teenagers are tested in several occasions before being granted the status of monk. These youngsters have to follow and respect the attitudes of this doctrine, the necessary discipline and will to practice these teachings. Nobuntal was successful in all these tests, and was granted his status as a Buddhist monk, coming to live in a monastery, alongside 200 other youngsters, remaining there for 6 years, until his sexual inclinations blossomed. He started to realize he fancied the other boys and that he felt like he was a woman in a man's body. It came to a point where he could no longer conceal his feelings, she later confessed in a news media interview. He really didn't feel well belonging to the male gender, but he knew perfectly well that by following such spiritual path, it would be impossible to let his desires loose. He came to a point where he needed to hide and put some makeup on to feel feminine. He had heard that if he took contraceptive pills, he would grow breasts. And so he did it, and he started to grow woman-like breasts. But one day, his mother went to the temple to visit him and noticed the changes that her son had suffered. At that moment, she burst into rage, but he begged her to understand him and let him be a girl. However, he remained for 12 more months within the monastic community, without being discovered, thanks to the uniform robe. But couldn't bear it and had to leave the temple, and mandatorily look for a job, especially due to the precarious situation of his family, whom he now had to support. He had the epiphany that he wanted to be a cabaret dancer, so he went to a cabaret in Thailand and landed the job, leveraging him to an international career as a model. However, in spite of being contacted by some international model agencies, he didn't have the financial resources to travel, choosing to remain in Thailand for that moment, as his fame was growing more and more, as an attractive female personality, both in Thailand and in Singapore. Finally, her family accepted her when they saw her success. But even if she's now famous, many still reject her, due to the spiritual nature of the region. She called herself Mimi Tao and her story went viral.